Hello guys, this is Mai from MP Art and welcome to my YouTube channel. Today, as you read in the title, I'm going to be talking about how to start as a repainter or doll artist. And I'm going to be giving you 5 tips which I think are the most important to start with. Okay, so the first tip is, it's not the brand but the technique. I get very often messages from people that follow me on Instagram or even on my Facebook account asking me about what products do I recommend to them to start with. And this is really hard, you see, because I don't feel really good saying to other people, go and buy this stuff, when I don't even know if those people have experience. And by experience I mean like painting classes before or some kind of knowledge. And this is really important because let's suppose that you want to start with acrylics, but if you don't really have previous experience with it, it's going to be very hard for me to explain to you the way that water will behave once you start using the paint and combining it. And also remember that your style will be pretty much defined by your technique. So I think this is really the first and most important step. Well, my second tip is be aware of the danger. Maybe you're wondering, what kind of danger is she talking about? Well, before I started choosing one of the 2 most common techniques, I did some research and I found out that most of the people in YouTube videos, even on forums, they were recommending this sealant called Mr. Super Clear to be the best for doll repainters. I was very convinced, but then when I decided to do a research, I usually do this before I purchase any kind of product. I find out that this was very toxic, and even some repainters in a forum were saying that they got very bad health issues using this, which were caused because once they were spraying, the particles of the product got stuck inside their lungs and they caused them voice problems. So I wouldn't want my dolls to look really pretty and me being unable to talk. So yes, I think this is very important and you should know this before you try any sealant, specifically this one, Mr. Super Clear. And this was one main reason why I didn't want to buy it. Also because it was really hard to get. You see, it was not very easy to find it here in my country, even importing it. I decided to do another research and to find an alternative for this one, and I'm going to show you. Okay, so here I have my sealant, which is Tamiya color for plastics. And this one works really good, really well. I bought it here in my country. You know, it's a very tiny can, and you know, it's not super cheap, but it's also not as expensive as the Mr. Super Clear, and it works great. You've seen some of my dolls when I have to, you know, paint the entire body, I will definitely use it. Or when I have to add blush to my dolls, I also use it. If it is not really that necessary, I will go with only doing, you know, some varnish and the eyes and the eyebrows and the mouth. But I definitely recommend this spray, and instead of using Mr. Super Clear, I know sprays are toxic, so try to spray only when you are outside and on an area where you don't see anyone eating or manipulating some food, or you know that you don't have animals or pets very close. That will be the best area, and I always do it on very sunny days. I also try to do it when it's not very windy so that the particles won't be spreading all around the area where I am. And yes, this will be enough for my second tip. So the third tip will be to do some local research, and this is in order to get the best materials for you that are affordable and that are very close to you or in your own country, so that you don't really have to get through a lot of difficulties in order to get your material to start doing your repaint. Also, you need to understand what you require for each technique. So basically I'm going to divide it in 2, and yeah, the first one is when you work with acrylics and use brushes to paint by hand. So I have some of my brushes. You see here I have a lot and different, you know, type of brushes right now. And this is because you never know when you are going to work with a small doll or a medium doll or even a mini doll. So it's good for you to have different types of brushes with different sizes. I also work with this, which is they are watercolors, but it's in a palette, so it's actually not really expensive. Well, this is very useful for me when I do my repaints. I have another type of acrylic paint here. This is the ones that are like on tubes, and this is more expensive than these ones, which are really, sorry for my nails, but don't pay attention to my nails, please. Well, these ones are more, you know, like you find it very almost in any store here in my country, so they are really not that expensive. And this one is a very professional brand here in Mexico, so this is another brand I use. I have this for, you know, in a bigger size, because I think white is one of the most important colors when you are painting, so this is pretty much the reason why. I suggest for you, this doesn't have to be for only one technique. You will use it and it will be like your magic eraser. You will need pure acetone. This is the one I use. You can get this on Sally Beauty Supply. When you're working with pastels, of course, the most important thing will be the sealant, because that's going to be the tool that helps you start and to finish your repaint. So you need also good brands of pastels and watercolors, but everything I think will be better if you can find them in pencils. The pastels I use, this is the top layer, this is the brand. You can find them here in Mexico, and yeah, well, these are only like bars. It's very useful when you want to add some blush, but if you want to, you know, use it to create everything, the eyes and the mouth and the eyebrows and everything, I suggest you to buy pastels, but in a pencil presentation, so it's going to be easier for you to work with. Well, the fourth tip is very easy. It is get a good head mold, because most of the time people worry about the acrylics or the sealant or the pastels, but they don't really think that the head mold is going to affect the final result, and in this case, yes, it will. Pretty much it's like if you don't look for a mold that has very similar features to the character you want to create, it's going to be, you know, not really accurate in the end, and you won't find the cost. You can spend hours trying to fix the eyes or the mouth or the eyebrows, and it sometimes isn't that what is wrong. It's the mold itself what is not letting you get accurate enough. And so this is very important. It's something that you will get used to. Maybe when you start it's not that easy, but with time you will see what you really need, and you start analyzing all the head molds and choose the one that you think will work better for you. Also, I suggest that you get a cheap doll to start with and to experiment. Something that in case you don't like the result, you can buy a new one and it's going to be okay. And the last tip is going to be to try new tools like sanding. Even sometimes it's good to use a type of clay so that you can mix it with the actual mold and, you know, sculpt a little bit the head and the nose or even the jaw, or sometimes with sanding you can achieve that same effect. And it's just about trying to experiment with new alternatives. I know it will be very hard in the beginning, so try to think this as a second opportunity once you already feel comfortable and you have painted a lot of dolls and you want to keep improving and seeing new ways to achieve the doll of your dreams. So yeah guys, this is the end of the video. I think I will do a second part because there are a lot of things to talk about that I cannot summarize in just one video, but I hope these 5 tips are okay with you. Let me know what you think in the comments. If you like it, you can subscribe to my channel. I will start uploading videos about my one-of-a-kind dolls for you to check them out. Also follow me on my Facebook and Instagram account as mpdollart. I send you kisses, hugs,